Alrighty then, this is the Gfinity Arena. It does look resplendent. I know that was the thought going through your head right now. These two resplendent gentlemen are next to me at the moment, Harold and Csgo. We are getting very close to having Epsilon taking on Reason in the Scandinavian Derby, which is going to be a brilliant derby, is it not, gentlemen? It has got all the hallmarks of a great match. There's been some player changes. I'm just being told now that Krill, who's been playing for the last 2 weeks, their coach is taken out of the lineup and Erosip comes in, which is going to be interesting as a bit of a battle between him and Basso maybe today.
Potentially. I mean, Krill was talking about it this morning, or earlier on in the day, and he was just saying how he doesn't feel like he's got the aim that he used to, so now he has to be much smarter with his plays.
Okay.
So, yeah, it's a different comparison, really, to have.
It's a nightmare when you lose your aim, isn't it?
Yeah, generally, it's a weird thing to think about, like, you kind of lose it, but it's just, you know, you don't feel comfortable on it, you haven't played, like, properly in a while, you kind of, it's weird, it's kind of like a rusty feeling.
So when he's stepping behind and taking on a bit more of a coaching role, it must be quite difficult for him as well. And when he's shown that for the last 2 weeks he's stepped in and done a job, and enough of a job for Epsilon to keep on winning, he deserves a bit of props really to him, doesn't he?
Round of applause.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, a little round of applause.
The crowd could clap it. Oh, sorry.
Now, Harold, looking at that lineup, Erosip, he comes back into that team. Could you see it being a bit of a battle between him and Basso?
Well, because they look similar.
Is that mine? No.
Well, I'm going to go out on a limb here. I'm going to say it's going to be a bit of a battle between all of them.
Oh. A 5v5 contest.
A 5v5 slobber knocker.
There you go. Okay.
But I think this is definitely one of the most anticipated games of the season so far. I would say second only to my highlight of the Elite Series, which is going to be Endpoint XL.
Okay, well listen, well go for it then if you want, Harold. You can go for it if you want.
I was going to say, they've already played this season.
Kevy.
I was just saying that was the other slobber knocker.
So,
yeah, okay.
The key slobber knocker.
Well, I think this is going to be a slobber knocker. I also think when you look at the highest fragging player for Epsilon, Kevzy, you know, and then you've got the stats of Basso to back it up. I was trying to just lead you, gentlemen, towards the fact that Basso being the top player for Reason, just a bit of a stat that we can look at, and the top player for Epsilon being Kevzy. Those sort of stats.
Similar.
Yeah, remarkably similar. And, you know, I was leading towards the wrong player with Erosip, but yes, Kevzy is the man currently. But I do feel like Erosip will come back and show us what Epsilon have missed by having Krill in, who apparently had lost his eye. But based on those stats, you know, what are we looking forward to seeing most of today?
Frags.
I suppose, yeah, well, hopefully some of them. I wouldn't want to see somebody have zero.
Actually, great frags, I'd say we're looking forward to. Some real great frags.
Would there be a bit of pressure on Basso? They know he's the top fragger. Can you try and target him in a match and try and take him out?
I wouldn't say so, because obviously he'd be running a very big risk. Like, you know he's a good player. Trying to target him in a way like that, I suppose the best way would be to avoid like that situation. Like, you know they do this, this, this. We can avoid that, and then we don't have to face the possibility that he kills all of us.
Which in turn would help to tilt him, you know, if you're not getting any kills, because even if it's because no one's coming to you and you end up having to retake, and then you know, it does put a lot of pressure on you, it puts a lot of pressure on the team, and it makes you feel a lot less effective. So, you know, there are tactics that they can put into place to try and overwhelm and well, essentially just play the mental game. Epsilon very good at that. They're a very strong team skill-wise, but throw in that extra element of knowledge and a little bit of experience, and well, who knows what they could do, or who knows what they could be capable of.
Now, gentlemen, I take your predictions from this match. You're both going with Epsilon. I know two gentlemen over there who are getting eagerly ready for a match that we're all eagerly waiting for on Overpass. But Kyanite and NATO, what do you think about this one? Who stands out for you, based on the fact there's been a lot of lineup changes? Who do you think is going to get this win today?
I think Epsilon will still have that minor advantage. Obviously, Zio coming in isn't going to make Reason's life much easier. I think even if Zio had their kind of regular fifth, Reason would have still not really been favourites to take the game. But, you know, you're good friends with the Reason guys, being a fellow Dane. How do you think they'll fare?
Well, one of the things that hasn't really been mentioned, and maybe not a lot of people know, is that Chaos has actually played in a lot of Danish teams as an AWPer, and he usually is actually pretty good with the AWP. He actually started out being the AWPer in the recent side as well, but they switched it over to Miné, who isn't here today. So I think, I mean, if he can take over the AWP role, they're gonna have a decent shot at this. I don't know much about CO's level, but we can only hope it's high since he's been drafted in. And you know, anything can happen. I know that the recent guys have a few tricks up their sleeve for overpass that they've told me about. So I hope that we get to see some of them.
So Epsilon from me, who are you predicting?
Well, I can't really go against Reason, can I?
There you go.
Okay, well, not going against reason, and an interesting little bit of info there from NATO. So, could that swing you? We've got the information from the Dane himself, NATO. Could that swing you at all to back reason?
I don't think that pity vote is going to swing my opinion. I'm a man of hard standing.
What about yourself, Seo?
I think it helps, obviously, that they do have somebody who used to be an AWPer and has experience with it, but they need a heck of a lot from him, especially in this fixture.
Yeah. All right, now, I've got to ask you this as a former player. With the delays that are going on right now, trying to sort out situation, players not necessarily being on time to get all the configuration done, but the situation is now, for the likes of Zio, he's waiting to play. Does that make you more relaxed because you feel a bit more relaxed in the arena, or does it put more tension on you?
Mixture of things, really. It depends on the person. So if it was a situation where you kind of feel a bit first time on stage, that sort of stuff, it's good because you're just, you're settling down there. You don't have to feel rushed into getting ready. You don't feel like you have to have everything ready in the first 10 minutes and no warm up. For now, he could be warming up now, which is perfect, really, because that's something that somebody's complaining about. They don't have much time to warm up. So it just depends what kind of situation he feels like he's in. From what I know, he's a very composed guy, he's very laid back, so he's probably fine.
Will this have a knock-on effect in our next match? When you look forward to Prophecy, who are trying to get that first win of the season, and then you've got Excel, who are coming off the back of their first win against Infuse last week. Will they be sit back in there? Because the arena is incredible. Backstage, we have a whole area where the players sit in a kind of like a tournament style opposite each other. Will they be getting more tense? Will it have a knock-on effect because of the delay with this Epsilon side and Reason?
For the most part, I think it's just a case of being allowed to warm up for longer. I don't know how some of the teams feel in that regard. Personally, I prefer to have all that warm-up time, but there is a certain level where it gets a bit excessive, where you're kind of like, I'm just kind of bored of doing this now. Can we just play?
Yeah.
It just depends on the people, really.
Can it have an effect, Harold, that you come out, you've been waiting for such a long time?
Stale.
You can either be one way, hot or cold. You come out, caution to the wind, or will you be maybe a bit more defensive? You sort of need to warm up into the game. And they haven't got time with a one-map format.
I think the key point is both teams get exactly the same amount of time. Neither are going ahead and starting early or not being there on time. So essentially you have exactly the same amount of time. Both teams are going to be in the same boat. It just depends how they deal with it. So maybe a more experienced team is much better at dealing with delays, whereas a younger team that isn't particularly good at it, maybe they become under pressure. But when you've got a team like Excel, I don't think they're going to be too concerned. They like to have a laugh, like to have a joke with each other, so they should just be playing around. And then over on the side of the Bulgarians, well, who knows, really? Who knows? I can't understand them, so I don't know if they joke around. They could be really angry at each other, for all I know.
But they might be really angry at themselves because they need to get that first win. And they're sitting back there at first point. First win would be better for them to have a chance of moving off the bottom and into that top four, which is you need to finish in the top four to make it through to the playoffs after week 7. But you look at that fixture that's coming up. I mean, we've spent a fair amount of time looking at Epsilon Reason. But Excel versus Prophecy, would you say at the moment, Excel, they've got that extra time that you sort of like as a player, that they'll be looking at this as an easy win today?
They'll be confident. I wouldn't say it's like an easy win. No win is easy in this league. I'd say all of them, you kind of do have to kind of fight tooth and nail some of the actual rounds, right? So overall, they'll be confident from last week. That's a generic thing. But today, they're looking at a team who don't even have a point yet. And from what we've seen, they haven't looked like they're going to get that much closer. If anything, they're digressing. From week 1, they got 9 rounds. Week 2, 8. Week 3, 7. So this side aren't, Prophecy don't look like they're getting any better. But the key is they have changed their GL.
Okay,
So,
which is very important. Would you also say that the role of the coach is fairly important? I mean, obviously Excel have Ross, and then we look at the sort of situation with the Krill now stepping back into that coaching role. How important is that role? Because I think sometimes it can be overlooked.
Yeah, it does get overlooked in the sense that I remember mentioning early on in the season, there's a few different kinds of coaches. You've got the motivator kind of coach, you've got the person who's more of an analyst, you've got the person who actually does take part as much as possible in the rounds, possibly at IGLs. What I believe is Krill used to IGL and help Jay-Z with calling and stuff in the previous version of this Epsilon lineup. Now he doesn't need to do it as much. He said he's going to let Barber IGL, let him do what he wants, and he trusts him with it because he's been with him for so long. So now he might take a step back more as an analyst. Last season, remember, he had a pack of notes, which was research on all these teams they're playing. So he probably will move from being the impactful coach to now being more of an analyst, which, it's the best of both worlds, really. If you have somebody who can do all of it, that's perfect.
Okay, well, Ezio, thank you very much for your take on why the coaches are important. It's time to hear from the coaches themselves for why they think their role is important in the Elite Series.
My role as a coach is to prepare my team tactical-wise.
Strong points in being a coach is definitely confidence, bring to the team to keep them hyped up, not losing their minds no matter what situation you're in.
The most important thing to do on stage is to keep everyone calm and keep all the communications going.
It's my job to work with the players to improve as individuals and as a team.
What I'm doing during the week is preparing the team as much as possible with demos from the opponents.
I sort of try to bring an outside perspective, improve on all the mistakes we make during our practice games.
Team morale is important, we all need to sit together. Obviously people make mistakes, but you don't bring that out in the game. We study that after the game.
Finding leaks in their games, finding things that they can improve on and finding exploits in other teams.
Mentality is definitely a big point in CSGO. I feel like sleep pattern and food, stuff like that is definitely important.
My main role is finding strats for the team, making notes as we play.
During the game, I'm not allowed to speak outside of freeze time and tactical pauses.
It can get very sort of argumentative when players are all in the same space, whereas I can just sort of bring an overview of the situation and calm everyone down.
I know when we're doing mistakes, I know when we need to change up things.
As a coach, people management is definitely an important skill to have.
I'm working a lot with the person in the team, know what they are feeling for the moment, in-game or even outside the game. I'm trying to be their extra dad.
It's kind of difficult to gauge how much impact coaches have because a lot of the work is done behind the scenes.
Let's go, baby!
Indeed, let's go, baby. Now, we are moments away from Epsilon taking on Reason. Now, Krill refers to himself as like a dad for these gentlemen. Obviously, less inclined to bring their mums along to the venue. But the thing is, with Krill taking on a dad-like role, is that a certain way of coaching these boys, letting them step back and then just, maybe a heavy hand occasionally when needed?
I suppose it's one of those things you kind of overlook. So Carol mentioned that team's quite young, other than Barber. It's quite a young lineup. So as a more experienced, veteran kind of player, you do feel like you're, in some ways a dad in that sense. You're constantly mentoring, you're helping them out with situations in and outside the game. Neil was mentioning, sleep, food, patterns, all this sort of stuff. It's not just coaching in the game, you help outside as well.
Now, Harold, got to ask you the question. Pundit, all-round top guy.
That's what they say.
That 2 things on the CV.
Right.
Well-dressed, 3.
Couple more than that, but...
Hair, 4.
Thank you.
Tall, 5. You've got everything pretty much going for you. Have you considered stepping into one of the coach's shoes up here?
Well,
literally,
it's funny you say that, because I was watching that VT, and they were saying all these qualities, and I couldn't help but think, they're just describing me. They're describing who I am as a person. So, of course, if anyone is looking for a coach, you can find me on Twitter at HeroldCSGO. That's HeroldCSGO. And my fee is negotiable.
Okay, perfect. But seriously, what would you offer to the team? I'd be at a loss because I've lost you from the desk down here.
The real question is, what wouldn't I offer?
You take that prophecy. I'm going to pose the question.
Why not? I'm not Jesus. I can't do miracles. Let's be real here.
Okay.
And I can't speak much Bulgarian. If they win a run, I go Blagodaria, and they go, and that's it. That's all I can say.
But if you were to take on that prophecy lineup and you had an interpreter who could speak the language of that prophecy,
well, yeah,
what would you do?
Obviously, I could make them win the game, but
they're taking on Excel today as a coach. Let's say, for example, you've had those 7 days to work on your prac and sort of decision making, and you can go in. What do you do with that team?
I sit them down in a circle because, of course, best way to integrate. And I look my interpreter dead in the eye and I say, gentlemen, we've had a long road. We've had a tough time. Does it matter? Can we get into playoffs? Does that matter? Are we going to finish this season on a high? Yeah. Yeah, we are. So do you know what we're going to do? We're going to go up there right now and we're going to show that audience who we are. We're Bulgarians. Not in here, but in here.
Brilliant. Incredible scenes. And your tears in your eyes, Ezio. I mean, I've never felt time with such
I feel Bulgarian.
I mean, I want to be Bulgarian now after what you've just said. But basically, it's an important role. And I think that Harold is basically saying he is available to be able to take on your teams and deliver. I reckon, based on that, they definitely get a point. Would you not agree?
Yeah. I feel like they deserve it for that.
At least
for dealing with him.
Okay, let's just break it down just for quickly. If you're just joining us right now, and thanks for sticking with us, because we are going to have our second matchup of Week 4 in just a moment. We are seconds away, apparently. Fingers crossed on that one. But Ezio, star player to look forward to Epsilon.
I'm going to give it 2 people that can go off. It's going to be Barber and Jay-Z.
Okay, and for Harold, for yourself, with that reason lineup, could it be Zio making an incredible debut?
I'm going to go out on a limb and say Zio.
Okay, perfect.
I think what he's going to do, and I'll be quick, all right? Well, he doesn't understand a word of Danish, so he's in his own world. He's just frag. That's all he cares about.
Okay, beautiful speech from you. I'm still have tears in my eyes. Listen, gentlemen, we've waited long enough for this. Kai and I, NATO, finally we are there. I hope for your sake, NATO, your reason boys get that win. But gentlemen, your final thoughts for Overpass as well?
Yeah, I think it's going to be quite an interesting map to watch. I think it would have been one hell of a game if Reason had actually had their 5th and gone at Epsilon full throttle. But regardless, another derby, Scandinavian derby, locking horns together, a lot of talent on show.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I think also it was said by the analysts, and I do definitely agree that Overpass is a map that's quite hard to mix. You know, mix call on.
Very team orientated.
It's very team
oriented. A lot of good
game,
communication.
exactly. But at the same time, I feel like it's probably one of the least AWP heavy maps. You only really go for the opening picks, and obviously it's nice to have an AWP on A, but it's not a must-have. So I definitely think Reason, there are ways that they can work through this.
100% will be, and I have to completely agree with Ezio. I think the 2 people who are really going to shine in terms of Epsilon are without a shadow of a doubt. Barber, who of course led Epsilon to victory in last season's Gfinity Elite Series, but most importantly, Jay's walk-in. Now, I didn't really know much about this guy before doing my homework, before coming to this event, but some of the frags this guy's been getting has honestly been just astonishing as the AWP player for the Swedes so far this event. So hopefully, looking forward to really watching him. He's one of them very exciting, aggressive AWP players, if you know what I mean. Kind of like Kenny S once upon a time used to be when he was arguably the best player in the world. But I want you to give me a player from this Reason lineup that you want us to watch out for.
Yeah, well, I know the players really well, so I'm going to go with CO.
That's why I asked you.
Yeah. Whoa, they're actually just going to be they're just going to be rushing into the B bomb site. Eric just takes a flash to the face and then a bullet, and he's out of it. So Sinkin has the kit, and not in a very good position actually to be with the kit, because if he does go down, it's a long way away to pick that up. Tissus finds Kevsey. JC Walkins gets found by CO. He's on the board. Let's go, Sinkin. Gonna be taking down Basso. Perhaps the star player of Reason, as he has been touted. And yeah, I don't know, should I say Haste or should I say Hester? It seems so weird. Because to me, he's Hester. So
he's Hester. Right, well, I'll try and pronounce it as Hester then. I mean, he's Danish, you're Danish,
Zio.
You know him, and it's pronounced Hester. And Zio, well, if you ask me, it looks like he's fitting in just fine.
Yeah, and the recent guys, they told me before the game, if we win the pistol, listen to what we're saying. And they're just like, come on, boys, we're going to do it, woo! So it's amazing. I also have a fun fact here. Apparently, in the recent camp, it is the case that whoever ends up on the same hotel room as Hester has an insane game, and it was Basso that slept in the same room as him. So we're expecting him to get at least probably like 70 francs.
Boom! Erikip's head no longer exists. Thesis' AK-47. Ready and waiting for him to walk to that crosshair, and he pulled the trigger and certainly made it count. Jay's Walkins, though, he has pushed all the way up towards a fountain, and he sees these flashes coming over, but he's going to take a peek into the park now, and he's going to know that it must have just been a fake. So Epsilon should be able to now rotate some of their players over towards a B-bomb site. Jays can flank from behind as well, and even though they are 2 men down, they should be able to read this and hopefully have a rotation coming in thick and fast. Zinken, though, needs to hold out, needs to make sure he doesn't hit the deck, and waits patiently for the rest of his teammates to head in. There's the bomb. Buttons being pressed, they've been heard, and now it's a case of whether or not Epsilon can use their limited firepower to retake this bomb site. They're going to get chased down by Hester. Spraying and praying. Barbar ready and waiting with the Desert Eagle. Can only get 1 kill as KS finishes things off. And as expected, really, Reason's dominance of firepower making a difference there to make it 2-0.
Yeah, and they also told me that Thesis, the young _gun on the recent side, he's really good on all pass, and he's already up to 3 kills. So hopefully he just keeps going. Obviously, I also got my boy Erikip, who is actually a guy I've known for so many years, and I mean, I have to say, the first team he ever played in was mine, you know. So I hope that he also steps his game up and delivers a lot of francs.
Why did he leave? Did he realize he was wasting his time?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Most people do. That's why they leave me. It's the same with my girlfriend. It's probably just so.
Well played.
Yeah. Talking about well played, this is a really well played round for Reason. They seem to be either it's just a gut feeling or they are reading the stack here, but they end up just slow walking into a completely open bomb site pretty much. And Erikip gets dropped. Thesis holding the rotations here. And it looks like a 3rd round on the board for Reason, who, I mean, I don't think we can actually stress this enough, but they have Csgo, who is not a bad player by any means, but he is English and does not speak a word of Danish. Maybe they've taught him a few words, but I highly doubt it. So it's communication-wise a lot more difficult for Reason to actually you know, string together these rounds and have good team play, but it does seem to be working out quite well.
He's a tank, isn't he?
Yeah.
You know, maybe this is all part of Reason's plan. They were like, right, okay, let's bring in Zio, full-on tank, right?
Find a big guy to scare them.
Well, yeah, he probably spawns with 200 HP because of how big he is. He can take more bullets. What a beast. But anyways,
he's got a bigger area that you can hit.
That's a very good point, actually. That's a very good point. But anyway, so first gun round of the game, round number 4. And James Walkins has got that AWP and he's waited absolutely no time. Going aggressive with it, and there we go. First come, first served for JZ, and he gets the first kill of the round.
And now it's all up to Basso and the rest of the recent guys to see if they can somehow find their way back into this round. Now, 4 versus 5 round wins are apparently their speciality, they've told me. So we'll see if that is going to be the case. JC Walkins only finds the info and does not want to take the fight. I think that's a really, really good decision from him, actually. Just get out there, get some really valuable info. And meanwhile, Reason Gaming going to be taking a bit of map control towards the A-bomb site, getting ever so closer. Still haven't seen an AWP come out for Reason Gaming, so we still have no idea who is going to be picking up the AWP, if any, as they...
I guess you can argue maybe on the terrorist side, you know, not having that extra 5th who's an AWPer gives you a little bit more maneuverability, lets you execute a lot faster. But talking about executing, that's the bomb that's going to be dropped onto the ground. Great crossfire coming out from the Epsilon boys, and even though Basso returns a kill, it isn't going to be enough, and this could very well be round number 1 for the lads from Sweden on the board. It most certainly is. I think credit where it's due to Jay-Z. You mentioned it, Nato, where a lot of players, especially, you know, you've got players out there who are phenomenal AWPers, but you've got to be the complete player. What he does is he goes aggressive, he's got the aim to get that frag, but he also knows when to drop back and make sure he stays alive. Other players would have gone a little bit aggressive there towards toilets and maybe ended up giving the AWP to the other side. So this is what I was saying in the first game. Counter-Strike is one of them games. Sometimes one little decision can affect a game so much, which is why you've not only got to be a good aimer, you've got to be an intelligent, a smart player as well.
Yeah, and I mean, I've actually had the, I don't want to say pleasure, because it's always been against JC4Kings I've been playing, and it's never really fun to play him. But
we can see why.
Yeah, I mean, I've played him a bunch of times, and I would say I don't see him as one of the AWPers that hits all these like insanely nutty shots where, you know, he's in a round where it's unwinnable, and then he hits that one shot that opens up the round, and like he should have never hit that shot or something like that. I feel like he's just a pretty solid player, you know. He's very smart and does what needs to be done. So, since we talked about organic AWPers earlier, I mean, this is as
don't remind me, please.
But I mean, he is pretty much just an AWPer playing the AWP role, whereas a lot of other AWPers, they try to do what's above and beyond. He seems to just do what is needed. But 3 kills coming in from Reason, Tissus, Chaos, and Basso, finding 1 apiece, and Ericip. Or Eric Kip, actually. He's going to be seeing if he can change the round in his favor. It takes 2. Can he get the 3rd here coming out of the underground? It's not going to be the case. Tissus in a 1 versus 1 situation has the smoke to block the vision from JC4Kings and will be getting the bomb down. Molotov to work with a flash as well. But is he just going to be trying to make his way out of the site, or does he want to just take the straight up aim duel here? Usually with these young guns, they want to try to just take the fight to the enemy, but Tissus playing it a bit smarter here. Going to be isolating himself from where JC4Kings is going to be coming in. Of course, Tissus has no knowledge. All he knows is there was a grenade thrown from CT, but by now JC4Kings could be coming through the underpass. And a good Molotov onto the bomb. No smoke for JC4Kings. He's going to stick it, in fact. Is he going to be able to get it? Oh, he's not. Tissus is going to be picking up that 1 versus 2 clutch situation, and a really important round for the recent side. Not only just in terms of the score line, but also money-wise. This completely breaks the economy that Epsilon, I'd say, have started to build, because they definitely didn't really build much off of that 1 round win.
No, they didn't. And so far, Reason, despite Zio as a stand-in, of course, certainly surprising most of us so far, an Epsilon, 3 P250s and 2 USP to try and repel Reason.
And another great call here. I mean, it's beautiful. Beautiful stuff.
Yeah, I mean, I see what Epsilon are trying to do, you know. You have to take that gamble sometimes in this kind of scenario. At least now, once they hear that the bomb's gone down, they'll all at least, you know, because they didn't split up, they'll have enough firepower to at least try and retake this bomb site together. But Reason, they've gotten onto this bomb site, they've gotten in so many good positions, and they've got the AK-47s that regardless, it's still going to be very, very tough for Epsilon. So they might just wait outside the bomb site and see if they can get any exit frags when Reason try to pull out so they don't lose their weapons. But they've got some very angry CTs waiting for them.
Yeah, but the problem with saving as a CT and making the bomb explode is that the T-side actually gets $350 extra per player. So, I mean, if just 1 CT player survives and the bomb explodes, all the T-side players get $350 each extra. So you want to make sure that it's worth it, and JC4Kings is starting to make it worth it by hopefully staying alive with this AK, which he just is going to eventually. Really, really nice that JC4Kings actually manages to hang on to that AK, and just to kind of end the thought and not confuse people. I'm not saying that JC4Kings is not a phenomenal player. I'm just saying that he is, you know, a solid AWP. He does what needs to be done.
I think organic is the word you're looking for.
Yeah, but I mean, it is, you know, a bit hard to explain, but it's just, it's kind of like having a striker in football. Yeah, it's nice if he can assist, he can dribble and all these things, but his main objective is to score goals. So obviously you want a well-rounded player that can do all of the roles that would be beneficial to the team, but having a striker that just scores a lot of goals.
Someone like Berbatov. Really Berbatov used to do absolutely nothing, yet somehow walk out of the game with a hat trick.
Yeah, it's pretty true.
Here we go then. Reason looking to make it 6 rounds to the good. Up against Epsilon Esports. Barber recently returning to that lineup. And Jay-Z says, come on, lads, let's step things up. Let's do this. Takes a peek towards the toilets and actually legs Thesis. Barbar has gone completely unnoticed. Should be able to drop the kill onto KS, and that's going to be the C4 as well. Second kill from Barbar. That's why they brought him back, and he could make it 3 because Basso is lurking nearby as well, unless it's Basso's time to shine. We'll have heard that grenade and will know that Barbar will, of course, be more than aware that that bomb has been dropped. 4 versus 2, though, as Kevzi gets the kill onto Zio, and Basso gives his position away.
Yeah, but a good smoke, actually, to just, once again, deny the vision of the AWPer. Combines it with a few flashes, try to make a play into the side. Only 15 seconds at hand. It's definitely getting a bit hard for him, but Basso finds 2 amazing kills. Unfortunately, lurking in the back lines, it's Erikip who takes him down. Denies Basso. I think that was going to be... He was on for the ace there, wasn't he? I think he picked up the first 2, and then in 1 versus 3 managed to... another 2.
But I'd be very frustrated, you know, if I was Epsilon, that kind of scenario. It almost feels like they handed him 2 kills, which were incredibly cheap. But good news now is, I mean, even though Epsilon's economy still isn't great, they at least have something to work with now. And it does look like a pause for Epsilon's coming in. It's a tactical timeout. What exactly do you think they're discussing right now? What do you think is going through their minds? And based off of, I think it's the 7 rounds we've seen so far, what do you think they need to change?
Well, I mean, I don't really know, honestly, because it's like, I don't feel that they've necessarily done anything poorly. JC Watkins has had a lot of entry frags. You know, basically what it's been is they lost the pistol round, they lost the rounds off the back of that, which is, you know, understandable. They won the first buy round, I think, and then lost the round after, which was, you know,
big mistake.
That can, but that can happen. And now they won the one after that. So now the pressure is on Reese, and obviously they have a few more rounds to work with, but still, I don't think it's that bad, actually. I don't really know what I would change as Epsilon. I think it's just more that either they've kind of been unlucky, or, you know, it's just small individual mistakes that have made the difference. But Reason have been, I would say, almost out-calling Epsilon. At least every time Epsilon have gone with a stack on the eco rounds, Reason has just been walking into her free side every time.
So, Kevzi jumping up on the sandbags, keeping an eye towards a short area, see if he can spot any terrorists. KS, though, has managed to actually dodge him. And he only has a CZ75, he's on 63 points of health, so he could be the first man to rush into this bomb site. Great Molotov is going to try and burn and deal damage to Zinken, but Erisip gets a double before KS and Zio sweep out the rest. Kevzi with his UMP gets the kill onto Hasta. 3 versus 2, and now it's all down to this same man we saw earlier to really make a difference and rattle the Epsilon defense. But 2 versus 1, he was very low HP, was KS. And it just didn't go right there for Kevin. But credit where it's due to Epsilon. We heard what it meant to them.
Definitely, and super vital that Erikip just gets the 2 first frags on the 2 guys rushing in. I think even KS got in front of Erikip's line of sight. And because of that, Basso and Thesis, I think, were the 2 guys rushing in after him. They weren't aware that there could even be a guy holding that angle. And that's kind of what went wrong for Reason. But it's not really anybody's fault. It's just down to poor luck, honestly. Baba going to be trying to farm some cash, trying to maybe bail out his teammate here. Hester is not hitting his shots right now, but unfortunate for him. Thesis does get 1 conservation kill. That's going to be all they get, though. But I mean, you know, there's a point to be made as well for a reason. Even though they're not winning these rounds, they are keeping the economy fairly low on the Epsilon side. All the buy rounds have been really close, and playing T side with a guy who doesn't know the nades that Mine, who is not playing with them today, you know, having to try to play around not having those set grenades or those set executes. I mean, I think Reason are doing a really good job, and I think this could end up being a really close affair. I think on CT side they'll have an even better chance at actually doing a lot of damage.
So JZ going aggro towards the toilets as usual. Do feel sorry for him and that smell, but he does like going to that area of the map. And talking about that area of the map, Thesis is heading that way too. JZ has given his position away with them very aggressive AWP shots, and this is it again. Falling back just to not bite off more than he can realistically chew. Kevzi, headshot onto KS as the reinforcements in the form of Barber come in to make it 2 kills for Epsilon. TC's might get caught with his pants down here at long unless he can redeem himself with a flashbang into the bomb site. Has a right-hand man in the form of Zio, I believe that is, as they rush, or Heste rather, towards this bomb site, but they're running towards the bank instead. They'll know that as Hester gets a kill. 2 versus 3. They'll know Thesis is also lurking in that area. And at the current moment in time, anything can still happen. Zio, he's watching his teammates back, making sure no CT can rotate from behind them and prepare for a flank. Feels almost like if Reason can get one more kill or maybe make their way towards the A bomb site, which they will, and once they make their way towards that bomb site, or the B bomb site, sorry, that's when they've got to be careful because there are CTs lurking nearby. 10 seconds on the clock, bomb hits the ground, and with 5 seconds to go and no more terrorists alive, it was a patient game from Epsilon. Didn't go too aggressive despite the man advantage, forced the terrorists into a very small hole, and in the end they were forced to try and plant, and well, the CTs knew exactly where they were and they made them pay the price.
I feel like that was a perfect example of what can be challenging with having CEO on the team and not your regular guy. It seemed like the whole T side was discombobulated in a sense that Hester goes down and takes a really nice kill down towards the CT spawn pretty much, and CEO is left stranded on the other side of the map as Basso does actually find a frag. JC Walking's just continuing the tear he's been on with this AWP. Thesis with one, and Kevzi cleans it up. But it could have, I mean, it looked like Thesis made the right decision by going through the kind of, I don't really know what you'd even call them in English, but like the stairs under the CT spawn. Unfortunately got the timing wrong, and I feel like that was a perfect example of why it can be really hard to play with a guy who doesn't know your standard default. You don't have as good communication. It seemed like a big communication error. It's obviously hard to know who's at fault since we're not on the team speak with the players, but I hope that they can bring it back and start getting some more T rounds.
So the boost came in towards the long area, just to the left of Picnic, and the first kill did, of course, unsurprisingly, go to Epsilon. 4 versus 3. Epsilon slowly but surely galloping back into this game. Basso, he's looking to neutralize Kevzi, who's waiting for him on short, and it is the Kalashnikov that reigns supreme. And now 3 versus 3. The execution is probably going to happen thick and fast, and Erisip here needs to try and stall as much as he can because that C4 is going to get planted very shortly, and there we go, it's ticking. The T's are getting in positions, and short now belongs to Reason Gaming. Epsilon to try and retake this bomb site, but JZ with the AWP, it's so difficult to maneuver with on a retake, especially so many hiding spots, so many corners on this B bomb site, that someone's going to have to hit that defuse button and someone else is going to have to try and cover. JZ holding the defuse. Erichip gets a kill, but KS will stop the defuse from coming in. Spraying through the smoke and gets the second as well. KS says, this is my bomb site, this is my bomb, and no one is getting anywhere near it. Round goes to Reason Gaming yet again.
Really well played by KS and the Reason guys. We see an afterplan. We haven't seen many actually in this match, and 3 versus 3 does go down to the wire, but in the end, it is KS who picks up the final frag. Now, we'll see. I mean, I think money's running pretty low on both sides. We can see JC Walkers has $500 to spare. So this is a very, very important round for both teams. JC Walking is going to be opening it up with a kill onto Hester, and Barbar finds one. KS has to clear the corner because of it. He loses the timing. Does not want to risk going through that Molotov, and it ends up being the right decision, but it means that they are now down in a 3 versus 5 situation, and they do have short water control, but that's just about all they have, kinda.
Yep, it unfortunately is, and you become very, very limited in this kind of scenario as a terrorist on a map like this. You know, all you can do is really just try and group together. Be careful, you know, for any CTs flanking round. And once you decide to execute onto a bomb site, it's so important you get that first entry frag and reduce the number of CTs that are going to be on the bomb site. Interestingly, Epsilon just allowed Reason to walk in and plant that bomb. Erisip a little bit later than he maybe should have been. And this is Zio's time to show what he's made of doing. Basso will nail Erisip in the head as Barbar comes towards him too. And he made it 2 kills, but just didn't have enough in the bank of that AK-47 to get the 3rd as well. Reason there for me, though, planting the bomb. 3 versus 5 situation, dropping 4 out of the 5 remaining Epsilon players. Not a bad round, but in a way, shame they couldn't win it in the end. And what a play from Zio.
Yeah, and now Reason Gaming are in a situation where they need to decide whether or not they want to half buy into this, or even force buy into this, or just straight up eco. And it looks like it's mostly going to be an eco. The money is running really, really low on both teams, and both teams are obviously aware of this, so it's really important for Reason to get as many kills as they can on this eco to keep the economy low even for the next round, but it's obviously going to be super tough for them to get any kills with these pistols. And Basso is showcasing exactly why. Is found out, no armor. There's actually just 3 people grouped up on his position, pretty much. KS somehow, though, has made it out. Oh my god. Zinken dodges the flash and checks behind him.
You could tell there was almost that moment when Zinken jumped and turned around.
Yeah.
They kind of both looked at each other and acknowledged, like, oh, hello. Nice to meet you. It's that like half a second before he actually pulled the trigger and realized what was going on.
Yeah. I mean, Reason didn't get any kills now, which means that Epsilon will have a really, really good buy. The only thing that they could have really hoped for is a few kills, maybe a gun safe in the last round, and that will keep the money low enough so that Epsilon wouldn't have full nades on every player, which is what they do now. Unfortunately, it also means that Reason Gaming, they don't have that many nades to work with. We're talking 2 flashes, 2 smokes, but they do have Thesis, who finds a really sick opening. KS finds another, and Hester also finds one as Erikip takes down Basso. So now 4 versus 2 situation, and it's just such a quick take off of nothing, pretty much. They didn't even use any grenades, it seemed.
Yeah, sexy Counter-Strike coming out from a very sexy organization, a legendary organization in terms of Counter-Strike history, in the form of Reason Gaming. Took full control of that B-bomb site, and there we go, half-time. Score 8-7 in favor of the Swedes, in favor of Epsilon, but really, you know, NATO, at this current point in time, it would take a brave man to bet on either of these 2 teams. It's been so evenly matched.
Yeah, I mean, what's going to be interesting here on the second half is whether or not CO can hold his own on the CT side. Because as a T-side player, he can kind of sacrifice himself for the team and run in first. And that gives his teammates a lot of space. But the problem is, if Epsilon start finding out...
Go die, we speak Danish now.
Yeah. But I mean, the problem is, if he is a weak link, Epsilon will very quickly try to abuse that. And that's why it's very important for CO not to come off as a weak link. Even though he might be the weaker link, it needs to not be so obvious that Epsilon are just going to try to hit his site constantly. So far I feel like he does deserve praise. 7 kills, up there with Hester. Coming in as a stand-in who doesn't speak Danish, I feel like that's actually a really, really good job from him.
Yeah, not done badly whatsoever. Again, it is early days. I mean, we are 16 rounds in. Yeah, we're at the pistol round for the second half, but this is really the point now. Who wins this pistol and what happens in the 4th and 5th round of this half that really starts to mold and define how the rest of this game will play out. You know, given how close the first half was. I do think Epsilon will still have a little bit more money in the bank because a lot of reasons rounds really in that first half will have come on the back of winning the pistol. But let's wait and see. Zio gets a little bit of information going aggressive. He'll have called to his teammates that, guys, they're going down them steps towards short, towards the B bomb site. And given that Epsilon didn't really have anyone on that...
Can they catch the bomb now?
I'm not sure. They might do, actually. Tessers has spotted him, but he is going to hit the deck. KS gets one kill, but the bomb is still on the back of one of these terrorists, and it will finally go down on B. But they may have left it too late because KS is ready to rumble, and he's come up behind them thick and fast. Can't get that USP kill. 4 versus 2 as Hester and Basso now with it all to do. Basso gets a headshot, but still has 3 very, very angry terrorists coming for him. He's going to start defusing. He's going to get lobbed at. He's going to get knifed. And there's the kill in the end, thanks to Erisip's Glock. And Epsilon win the all-important pistol.
Yeah, and that makes it 1-1 in pistols for the two teams. Pretty evenly distributed. I think it's a bit unfortunate. It looked like they were not aware that it was the bomb that was running through the monster tunnel, and so they didn't try to start shooting him because they didn't want to give away their positions. But if they had known that it was the bomb, I think by killing him, it would have turned the tide so heavily in their favor that, honestly, I didn't really see any reason. Well, I didn't see any reason or any possibility of them losing the round. So it's very unfortunate that Epsilon, I think they must have heard the recent players as well because they double peeked it, and a really, really lucky timing here for Csgo, who is trying to see if he can work his way in. Eric spots him up, but Csgo hits a nasty shot. Eric follows up with his own nasty shot, though, and takes him out. So 4 versus 5 situation once again for Reason. They do have a bit of a map to work with, and I think they might be content with just leaving Tissus here in the short water area and stacking the A-bomb site instead. Maybe that's something that they're going to do later. A good bait, though, as Tissus finds one. That puts it into a 4 versus 4 and health advantage to Reason.
Zinken with that Mac-10 in full San Andreas style. Takes off the face of Hasta before Tissus gets his second of the round. Can he make it 3, though? With the Desert Eagle, he can't! So close to making it 4. Erisip left on only 4 points of health before finally falling victim to that scout of KS. Fake plant coming down for JZ. He's good with an AWP, but he can deliver the goods with an AK-47 as well. 1 versus 1, 20 seconds on the clock, and JZ jumps up and phenomenally wins the round. You can see what it means to him, and he laid the smackdown there on Reason Gaming and puts his team into double figures.
Insane round from JC. Really well played. Fakes out the bomb plant. Makes the recent players doubt whether or not he's actually going for the bomb plant. They are thinking that he's sticking to the bomb plant, and that's why they try to push him.
He said in his interview that he just stays cool, calm, and collected. And just there, he's just pulled off an awesome clutch, and he's just, you know, just nodding his head.
Yeah. Well, I mean, while it's just an eco bash here, I want to also highlight what a sick round from Tissus that was. The guy, I mean, he's what, 16, 17 years old, picks up 3 Deagle kills, almost 4 in an unwinnable round. I mean, really, really, really sick round from Tissus. Unfortunately, he only gets the 1 this round, but still, he's doing a really, really good job at getting so many kills, of course, but also, as we've said, and I feel like this has kind of been the theme of this match. It's just been keeping the opponent's money low. It's been constant back and forth. It's not been one team stringing together 5, 7 rounds and sitting on a huge bank. It's been, constant back and forth, and I think that makes for an exciting match.
Can't help but feel like if Epsilon are to not really run away with the rest of this game at this current point in time, this is such an important round for Reason to try and turn, the tide of what we've seen so far. KS taking a peek towards short as Barber Gfinity Series 1 champion with this very same organization, of course, a few months ago. Let's see whether or not he can refine some of the magic that he had last season and help Epsilon make it 12. In terms of the CT setup, NATO, quite passive, but then again, Epsilon haven't really showed much skin as of yet, and it looks like they're actually going to go to the other side of the map and dedicate towards A.
Yeah, they're just taking the B map control early, leaving one guy to just not really hold it, but at least they've faked the B presence now, and then they can go back to A and take some map control. Epsi, though, he's got a mission, but Tezes shuts him down.
Feels like the timing could have been a little bit off there.
Yeah, unfortunate for him, but then again, I don't know why you'd want to make a play there. I'm not sure if that's a call that's been made from Baba that, hey, see if you can open up B or something. I think it's more likely Kevsi saw that he might have timed someone or something like that and try to make a play off of it, but unfortunately it doesn't work out for him this time, and that leaves his brethren in a horrible situation. 4 versus 5 going on to the A-bomb side. Eric has sneaked all the way up though, and JC Walkings also takes down Besso. Now are they going to find CO? CO flops the spray a bit, but does take down Baba. And now, all of a sudden, it's just been switched completely on its head. Reese now in a bad situation. 2 versus 3. Coming from the CT spawn. Eric going to be taking down one. KS picks up an AWP. Is going to be finding JC Walking. So now both of the players are towards long. Doesn't have a kit though, so needs to work fast. And he is going to be trying exactly that. Oh! Good no-scope coming in from KS. Looks for the last guy. Unfortunately has no info on him. And since he doesn't peek, maybe he'll start to think it's from long. If he had hit that shot, that would have been absolutely insane. But still, keeping the money low. The theme of this match as Epsilon get their 12.
Well, my question is, how on earth did the terrorists manage to just creep through their own smoke at long and get slap bang on top of that bomb site? I'm sorry, but when you're a counter-terrorist, considering they had 3 men around that area as well, purposely protecting A, because nothing really but that one really early frag attempt, very poor fake attempt at long. You know, they had a lot of firepower there, the CTs, and somehow Epsilon were just given a welcome mat and said, yo, come onto the bomb site and shoot us from it. Grab us when, you know, it almost looked like when the terrorists got onto the bomb site and got them kills, the CTs weren't even anticipating that it could have potentially been there. And for me, that may have been a breakdown in communication or something, because unfortunately, mistakes like that, sure, the round came down to pretty close thanks to some phenomenal play from KS, but really, it should never have even got into that 1 versus 1 situation, and Epsilon should have really walked it from that point onwards after the Reason mistake. But here we go, talk about another mistake. Reason actually push all the way towards near T spawn, but Kevzi lurking, ready and waiting, manages to repel the attack.
Baba, good communication from the Swedish players here, but they do not know the fact that there's one more still in underground. Is a knife going to be coming in here? Hester is going to be knifing Baba. Is he going to get more? He is going to take down Erikip as well. Now they do have an AK. Armor on 3 players. And it does look like the game is up. Kevsi going to be pushing in. Takes down CO. 3 versus 3 situation. But KS has made his way out of heaven. Gets tacked up in a Mullo as Hester finds one more. But does go down to the fire and flames. 20 seconds left. The young gun, Thesis, pushing through the smoke. Second guesses himself, and that's, unfortunately, in this scenario, the wrong decision, it seems. Going to be mulling on the bomb site. Going to be making his way to Monster instead. Trying to change up his angle and see if he can find the duo that gives him the way back into the round. But unfortunately, it's not going to be given to him. And I think it was Sinkin closing out that round. Very important round, and you also, I mean, we also have to highlight, that for winning a game, you get 2 points, and for getting 10 rounds, you get 1 point. So for Reason, knowing that they're playing with a stand-in, I would assume that the first goal that they're going to go for is getting those 10 rounds on the board, taking the 1 point, and then afterwards they can set their sights on winning the game. Of course, the end goal would always be winning the game, but if they can manage to get up to 10 rounds, that'd be really, really big for them.
So here we go. For anyone wondering why the format is like that, it's because obviously these teams go head-to-head in best-of-1. So if you do manage to lose a game, but you still manage to rack up 10 rounds on the board, then you know, here we still reward you for it. It's a long season, and you know, that kind of play doesn't go unnoticed. So Reason, 3 more rounds, so at least, like you said, Nato, secure them points. But hello, Thesis is going to come from behind, manages 1 kill. Zeo is also there and ready to roll. He hears Jay-Z walking coming as well, and given that Jay-Z has an AWP in this kind of scenario, you can't help but feel like Zeo's the one at an advantage. But the second I say that, Jay-Z defies logic and manages the kill. 3 versus 2. Jay-Z and Airship with it all to do, and it's a battle of the AWPers, and it's Jay-Z that wins that one and enters the race to plant on this B-bomb site. Molotov down, waiting patiently for someone, for the blue, for a sniff, for a smell of one of these counter-terrorists to really show themselves. It's Jay-Z with it all to do. Weight of the world on his shoulders. He is going to hold the plant. But in the end, I feel like that was played very, very well by Reason. And that was what rewarded them that round in the end. A bit of topsy-turvy stuff towards the start of that round. But, you know, playing it patient, knowing that the T's didn't have enough time to go to the other bomb site and just waiting for him to plant and winning the round in the way that they did was very, very good.
Most definitely was, and I think we're going to be seeing the switch here. It is pretty much official now. KS is going to be opening over Hester for the rest of this match, I'd say. KS is actually a really, really strong AWP on the CT side of Overpass, so perhaps it's a decision they made from home that they were going to let Hester up on the T side and KS on the CT side. It does look to be the case, at least. KS is a very strong AWP, especially on the CT side of Overpass. I can't stress that enough. I think that's probably his best map and best side, even, as an AWP.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see what the analysts, you know, make of it, because obviously that was the question coming into this game, what they're going to do now that they haven't got their main AWP player. But here we go. Zinken with 1, Zinken with 2. Basso and has to try to resist. But, ladies and gents, the A-bomb site is in full control of Epsilon Esports, unless Mr. 16-year-old Wonder Kid can make his mark, which he does. 2 versus 2. As that bomb ticks, as Thesis awaits to see if any of these terrorists are going to show themselves. Thesis is going to nail Barbar in the head. Zinken hears the defuse coming in. Oh, the defuse is held and the terrorist falls. Reason make it 2 rounds in a row. Such an important frag from Thesis towards the toilets, and Reason, NATO, are on their way back.
I mean, Thesis, such a young guy, and he gets another 3 in such a vital round. He's up to 24 in 22 played.
Well, he's been really, really good so far.
He is on fire. I mean, we're highlighting Jay-Z Walkings, we're highlighting Barbar, but the guy that's really stepping up here is Thesis. Yeah, I don't know what to say. It's actually, he's had some insane rounds. So much impact. It's not like it's, you know, been eco frags or something like that. It's been him just going to town with a deagle or a rifle or...
Important frags right when they matter. It's almost like he timed it like that on purpose.
But he's doing a really, really good job as we go into the 23rd round here. Epsilon, finally, the money is broken, and they are now only on pistols. So, looking to be another round on the board for Reason. But obviously, there always is a way back. Even though you are on pistols, it's obviously possible for you to put up a fight and sometimes even actually outright win the rounds. They do have the manpower to do it. KS with the angle. Needs to land this shot. Gonna go aggressive on the perfect timing. Does take down 1. It takes the second as well. And that's Jay-Z Walkings and Eric Kip, the 2 top fraggers on the Swedish Epsilon that are now out of the server. And Basso with 1, looking for more. He is not going to be getting any because KS is just going to get a double kill. Super good round from KS, and nice to see that he's going to be coming back onto the scoreboard here. I mean, Kain, I need to ask you, do you think this is the comeback for Reason?
Well, if KS keeps playing as well and as electrifying as he has the past few rounds with that AWP, then who the hell needs Mine? You know, or Minute, or however you pronounce his name. You know, who needs him? at the moment when you've got KS on fire with that AWP the way he has been so far. He's looking to change it up now, going towards the steps, a flash going his way, but unfortunately for him, Epsilon aren't marching towards him just yet, despite having a soldier on shore. Epsilon slowing things down, taking their time, waiting to see if they can allow Reason to waste some of their nades. Zeo pushes short, gets taken down before Thesis returns the favor. 4 versus 4, and it is worth mentioning that in this kind of scenario, it does slightly favor the terrorists because the CTs can cover less ground. 3 versus 3. Epsilon head towards the toilets. Bomb looking to join in on the action as well, and still at the moment, anything could happen, and this is, for me, my man of the moment so far within this Reason Gaming comeback. If there's anyone who's going to lead the charge back and try and turn it around for Reason, it's going to be KS, and it looks like at the moment he's reading them like an open book. Zinken is probably going to continue to try and make noise over towards this A-bomb site before JZ and Barbar head towards that B-bomb site. And once they do, they should be able to at least trade that frag onto KS towards the B-bomb site and at least plant in this kind of situation.
Yeah, the problem is KS going to be eating this fate? Zinken is given a lot of ground to work with, and he is going to be taken down. Hester almost gets the second as well. Now KS, he has rotated up to the A-bomb site, but it's all an elaborate ruse. He wants to try to see if he can get back before it's too late and really needs this kill. He is going to get it. Barbar drops JC Walkings in another clutch. He's done it before. Can he do it again, Kyle?
Gut feeling tells me if there's anyone on this Epsilon team you want in this kind of situation with unbelievable ability, it's none other than JZ Walkins, and he walks the clutch as well, makes it look easy, as cool as a cucumber. It's almost like he's not even just pulled that off. And I just realized he kind of looks a lot like Jackie. He's not going to like hearing that, but he does kind of look like Jackie. But yeah, what a clutch that was from JZ Walkins.
Yeah, really, really good clutch.
Well, maybe that's why Jackie's not casting. Maybe he's actually been hired up. He's just changed his name. That's what it is. He claims he's in Korea, but he's not actually in Korea.
Okay. That's a twist of events.
They do look alike.
Turn of events.
I'm going to let you know.
But Reason, I mean, they have gone up to the 10 rounds that they needed to get the 1 point. We'll see if they'll be able to grab another 2. As they do have CEO on a Mag 7. I'm actually liking this, trying to change it up a bit. We'll see if it works out for him. They do actually have a pretty nice setup on the B-bomb side right now. The only thing that can really mess it up is a Molotov towards barrels, and it doesn't seem like it's going to come. Tis is going to be the point man here. He's going to be taking the first, looking for more. He takes one more. Molotov comes in, but he's already out of dodge. CEO gets one, going to be looking for more, takes the second as well. And now CEO once more going to be taken down by Barbar, as now he's left in a 1 versus 4 situation, seeing if he can find the angle onto Thesis, but timing gets in the favor of Thesis. And how many is he up to? 27, 28?
I'm telling you, dude, Thesis and KS leading the charge back here for Reason Gaming. Honestly, still a lot of rounds to be played in this kind of scenario when the game is this close. And credit where it's due to both Thesis and KS. They've both been just remarkable in this Reason fight back. And it's no surprise that we are seeing a pause coming out from Epsilon. It's almost like they can smell victory, but the littlest of mistake at this point could totally swing it in Reason's favor. Once Reason especially build up some momentum. They win 1, 2 rounds in a row. They're approaching that same number of rounds as Epsilon. Things could get shaky for them.
But not only that, JZ Walkings won a clutch to reset Reason's economy. But now, because they just won this round, Epsilon's money has just been reset. So Epsilon, they will have about 1,400 to work with, plus what they had from last round, which is likely not much. We're talking in like $200 or something along those lines, around that range. And they are actually going to be forcing into it, surprisingly, but they want to just see if they can put the hurt onto the Reason players. before it's even getting all too close, I almost interrupted myself there because Thesis, I thought he was on like 27, 28. He's actually on 29. He's 1 kill off of the 30 bomb. Insane. Insane player. I don't know what to say.
Here we go then. Epsilon so far unbeaten in this second series of the Gfinity Elite Series. And could that change? Well, only time will tell. But Reason now in a very nice position to really make this round count as well, given the lack of firepower that Epsilon currently have. Basso, is he aware that Zinken is lurking by? He will have seen some shots fired off, but he's playing this passively, taking his time. But Hasta has a lot of work to do as he pulls the trigger, sprays and prays, and gets 2 kills. Jay's walking finally returns the favor before hitting the deck. Basso rotating all the way in for Walls Long, not allowing that plant to occur. And now Zinken and Barbar in a very, very smelly situation.
Definitely a hard round, and they are going to be just double peeking up through the stairs. Thesis gets another that puts him on 30. Barbar moving around the truck, takes one, does not get the second, but Thesis does. He gets his second and his 31st kill of this match, and we haven't even, I mean, it's only, is it 14-12 or something like that? So we're into 26 rounds, and 31-17. It's a pretty strong scoreline. The next guy on the scoreboard is KS and Erikip, and they are on 21 apiece. So a lot of kills coming in from the young Dane.
Well, you know, I was reluctant looking at that last round and thinking, Epsilon, really? Why have you invested so much into that last round? And now Reason are just going to completely walk this one. Unless they can pick up that M4 and maybe retrieve it, or, you know, save it going into the next round, even though I'm not sure how advantageous that would leave them, you know, in terms of the situation they were in. Has to get in 2 SMG kills. You can see that the Reason lads know that the fight back, the comeback is on, the comeback is real. And this round now could be the defining round. You probably know what he just yelled. I have no idea what he's just yelled, but you seem to be laughing, so inform us.
They were sitting and yelling, "Come on, NATO!"
Oh, right, okay.
Yeah,
fair enough.
So I can't help but smile. They're nice guys on the Reason side. Obviously also on the Epsilon side, I just don't know the match.
The NATO Sapphics fanboys.
I think in this current moment it's probably the other way around. Theo gonna be dropped though by Kevzi, and that is gonna be Reason on the back foot, and we haven't actually seen Epsilon with that many entries here on their T side, so maybe this is exactly what they need. This forces the hand of KS, who now has to make a play, and he can only get a maximum of 1 here. He does actually tag up the other guy as well. It looked like they had the read on him. I think they saw him go to that corner. Just caught a glimpse of him, and gets the most out of the situation. Takes one and puts the other to 17 HP. But now, again, it makes the CTs have to make a play because they are down a man. And that player is going to be Hasta, going to be taken down 1 as well. And it's just going to be Trade City. As it's going to be Epsilon hanging on to their man advantage. Barbar, if he jumps down here, I think he's going to get killed by Basso, and that might be what changes the tide here. 2 versus 2 now. Both Epsilon players and Reason's players are on full HP. Tissus needs this kill. Can't land it, unfortunately. Such an important kill as well. If he gets that, that's pretty much round over, and we're looking at a 14-14 instead. It's now all on the shoulders of Basso. 1 versus 2.
12 HP. And
I mean, he has a smoke and a Molotov to work with. So if he can Molotov off short, smoke off the bomb, it's going to be what he's going to be looking to do. They're going to flash in as well. Oh, was that a Molotov?
Yeah, they returned it with their own Molotov.
Oh, that's unfortunate for Basso. That puts Epsilon on the 15th round. Good kill by Erikip, and good teamwork as well by Epsilon, flashing in and committing to the battle. It's really unfortunate for Basso that he actually gets caught with a nade in his hand, because even if he doesn't face there, Eric dies in the Molotov, and then he's versus Kevzi in a 1 versus 1, and Kevzi only had like 10 HP, so it's a bit unfortunate for Reason, but really nice to see Epsilon getting up on the 15th round, and
that almost feels like as well if even though Thesis came very, very close and he's he's got blood flowing through his veins, he's feeling confident, he's got momentum behind him and so on. It still kind of felt like if he'd maybe have just fallen a little bit more passive and then they'd have tried to retake that bomb site 2 versus 2, it could have ended differently. But then again, hindsight is a beautiful thing, and Zeo fragging is also a beautiful sight, not just for Reason Gaming, but for UKCS as well. Basso chimes in with a kill of his own. Neo makes it 3, so close to the 4-man, but Neo flexed them pecs over on overpass and put his foot down and said, you know what, lads? You think you've won this, don't you, Epsilon? We don't care if we're 2 men down. We're going to turn this around. And Reason, like they've done so all game, just when it seems like they're down and out, they somehow crawl it back.
And now Epsilon again broke. They have pistols to work with and some Kevlars, and that's all they have to work with. They do have a few grenades here and there, but honestly not that much. And overpass, a map where you usually want to work the slow T-side default and take the map control on A, it's pretty much impossible with what they've got given. So I think what they're going to be trying to do is smoke off the toilets as they've just done, take the map control and end in an A execute. Because it does look like the 3 smokes and the 1 Molotov will come in handy. Getting up close, doing the wall of smokes on the A bomb site would probably be a really good choice. And I am thinking that that's what they are going to be trying to see if they can make work. They're actually going to be smoking the end of long here, and Kevzy and KS apparently exchanging a bit of damage.
I've got this weird feeling that Lord Gaben at the moment is going to be with Epsilon.
Yeah.
I just don't know why, but let's see how it develops. Hasta pushes straight in. Oh, the Deagle gets the better of him. And now Zeo and Basso with all these angry terrorists to try and repel. And Basso does so very, very well. Zeo chops off the face of Barber. KS chops off the face of JZ Walkins. And now Kevzy in a 1 versus 3. With all the pressure of the world on his shoulders. You can hear what it means for Reason. It was a great comeback to 15-all. And from an Epsilon point of view, you can't help but just wonder where it all went wrong, how they let it slip. They were in such a controlling position at one point.
Yeah, I mean, Epsilon have looked like the better team throughout this match, I would say. And it's a funny storyline, this, if Reason end up winning it, because it's all off the back of that one round that CO pretty much single-handedly won. And he's the guy who he doesn't understand the language that the rest of his teammates are speaking. He hasn't played competitive CS in 2 years.
Universal language, bro.
I mean,
if you're a CT and you've got terrorists coming towards you, push that mouse button down and kill them.
Well, I
Point
think
and aim, boys.
That would be a crazy good storyline if that's good. That's what ends up winning Reason the match. That would be pretty cool. But as I've said, I think Epsilon actually have looked to be the better team, especially towards the later parts of this match. So I think it could obviously go either way. That's usually the case when you go into an overtime. But I wouldn't be all too surprised if Epsilon do win it out in the end. Yeah.
So if it's still a draw after this first overtime, do we go to penalties?
Yes.
Right, anyways, there we go. KS reliving a few previous rounds and continuing to be absolutely devastating with the AWP. He does finally fall to the Kalashnikov of Kevzy as he hurries, rushes, marches out of short, but Thesis was ready and waiting. Not quite sure. I feel like that short push was, in terms of timing, was a little bit off. And Zeo says, you know what, I did a few rounds ago, I'm going to do it again. Very convincing defense from Reason, but I feel like the attack wasn't very convincing from Epsilon. Are they maybe starting to lose a mental battle here?
Well, I don't really know if there was anything done poorly by the Epsilon players. We didn't quite catch the action that went down at the short water at the beginning, where KS got the 2 opening kills, but it looked like they were just trying to take short water control, and he ended up with 2 kills. I think if I had to guess, it's probably just KS either getting lucky or having a good round there. But also, after that, you're in a 3 versus 5 situation. It's not a lot that is possible when you don't really have the short water control and you are down 2 men. But it's again, I feel, the case that Reason, especially on the CT side, they've been getting so many opening picks. And it's super hard for, obviously, any team to play a man down in almost every single round. So I'm not really sure what Epsilon can change, because getting the first pick is not so much down to tactics. It's more down to making it work. We see here the replay finds 2 great frags in Underground. It looked like they were actually just going to be rushing through Underground to try to shake short water control, and he had the perfect counterplay. In such a scenario, there's not really much you can do if you're an Epsilon player.
So if you just tuned in, this is week 4 of the Gfinity Elite Series 2nd season. And what a day we've had so far. We're not even past the halfway point yet. First game was, of course, Method versus Infused. A British derby. Method emerged victorious in that one. And here we are with a Swedish-Danish Scandinavian derby. And at the moment, it's none other than Reason Gaming that are holding the lead after what was, to say the least, a bit of a monumental comeback, given how the second half was going at one point and how one-sided it looked like things were going to be for Epsilon. But JZ says, right, time to introduce myself into this second round of overtime.
And Tesis trades out the kill. It was a long time coming, but it came in the end. 4 versus 4. This is a round where Epsilon actually did get the advantage early on, but was quickly traded, so not really a lot that they can gain from that. 4 versus 4 and only 45 seconds left. Doesn't leave a whole lot of options for Epsilon. And if they were to lose one more here, even 2, that would make matters a lot worse. But Tesis on fire this match. His hat trick, another one of those. And yeah, impact frags all over the board once again from him. Steps up when it's needed the most, and now 17 seconds, they have to just come charging into B. They don't even have time to clear the guy who's playing Monster, which is Hester. And they also get killed from the heavens by KS. So that's going to be another round on the board for Reason, and another, yeah. I mean, I don't want to just sound like a broken record, you know, but it just is Tesis with some individual plays that are just so insane.
Well, them 2 Epsilon players getting caught coming out of toilets. I think when you're the Epsilon player, the question has to be asked, why were 2 of us in such close proximity? How, you know, in that kind of situation, 2 versus 1, a trade should have possibly occurred. It's just too easy in that last round for Tesis to get them round-defining 2 kills, and he had one obviously earlier before making it a hat-trick. And like I said, Tesis and KS have really been the 2 players in this Danish Reason side that have defined this comeback. I don't know about you, Nato, but I still remember when Reason only had 8 points, and we were saying, you know what, they'd be happy with 10 because they'd at least, you know, get some consolation points on the board, and look at them now.
Yeah, it's definitely a different Reason, and we also see the flank coming in from Hester. He'll pick up the bomb and 2 kills. And that's going to pretty much be the round over, it would seem. He's going to Molotov in. Barba is going to drop as well. And this is an insane round from Hester. Sinkin, forced to make a play, gets taken down by Tesis, and Kevzi, left stranded on the other side of the globe, is eventually going to be found by Hester as well. And that's a 4K from him. 18-15 in favor of Reason coming into the second half of overtime. Kyanite, please tell me what's happening, because I'm speechless.
Counter-Strike is happening. Honestly, Counter-Strike is happening, and that's why I keep saying all it takes sometimes, you know, is literally just a 5-second mistake that can let your opponents back into the game. They build up some momentum, and bada bing, bada boom, the comeback is real. And I don't know about you, but this Reason Gaming comeback is bringing some old Source memories back. To the vitriolic comeback against Reason.
Oh yeah,
but this time the tables turned, and it's Reason who are performing the comeback. But yeah, one more round is all they need.
Yeah, I mean, to anybody who hasn't watched the Csgo 9 Reason Gaming,
Vitriolic Gaming,
yeah, versus Vitriolic Gaming. It's like, well, I don't even want to spoil it by saying the score, but Vitriolic, I think it's even Fiflaren who actually plays.
Yeah.
It's just, it's like one of the best Counter-Strike videos ever.
Ah,
Such a good...
I'm trying to remember the names now, but then I should do my job and focus on this game.
As well, I think.
Here we go, one more round. And Reason Gaming pull off the comeback against an Epsilon esports side who are so far unbeaten in the Elite Series. Are they about to be dropped off their throne? That is the question.
I really like this change of pace from Reason. I mean, all of the pressure is on Epsilon, and they might be intent to try to make some plays to... I mean, it's just kind of a standard psychological thing, I think, when you're behind and you need to not make any mistakes, you instead try to end up... you end up trying to make plays, and Reason are trying to see if they can punish that. No mistakes so far from Epsilon, though. Reason going to be just grabbing as much map control as they can, and JC Walkings is actually going to be finding Tesis. I think there was a slight gap through that smoke, or maybe he was just incredibly lucky. Reason going to be taking the B-bomb site now with smokes and flashes, sinking the first man that's going to be facing off against the Reason members, and he does take down 2 players. Going to be finding the third as well, and Erikip finds Zio. And 16-18. It's getting closer once again.
Can you smell that? You know what that smell is?
What's the smell?
It's a cheeky double overtime.
Oh?
Yeah. I can feel it.
Yeah, I can actually smell it now as well.
Or maybe someone in the audience just farted. It could be that.
Also a possibility. Those 2 smells, they are just so close to each other.
Hellblender was the other vitriolic play I was thinking of.
Yes, because I said that.
No, did you? I didn't hear it. Sorry. Sorry. So, Giftig, UN, Hellblinder, Fifth Laren. Not UN, sorry. UN was on Reason.
Yeah.
Giftig, Fifth Laren, Hellblinder.
Yeah.
It begins with a H, I think. I'm trying to remember. I'm trying to roll back the years now.
Yeah, but did you also say... But no, because that guy was I don't know.
The reason why I said UN, because it's UNPR, PHP, Guardian, and...
there was WT, or whatever his name was. He also used to play for Reason.
Yeah, I remember
PHP
him.
And,
oh my God, such nostalgia. But forget that Reason gaming lineup. Forget the fact that Guardian, once upon a time, used to play for Reason gaming lineup. We're not living in the past. We're living in the present, and this is the Reason gaming of the present, who are just one round away from doing what many would consider the near impossible. Money to work with for the Danes, AK-47s, and we could potentially see a bit of a change of pace here coming in comparison to the last round.
Yeah, it looks like they're just going to be rushing the A-long area, and they actually steering clear of JC Walkings for the time being, but that's maybe not as good as you'd think, because we do have a double orb setup for the first time, I think, in this match, with Baba now holding the long area. I mean, Tesis and Hester, if they had heard Kevzy's step, that would have been really, really good info, but it does look like he's getting so close that he might be flashed in. It looks like he's really waiting for that flash, but is it gonna come?
Well, Baba could flash in, but he's actually just wasted it towards toilets, so that flash probably isn't coming. Kevzy will know that terrorists are nearby. Oh, Kevzy so close to wreaking absolute havoc towards Long. Only gets 1 kill before getting traded. Baba needs to go huge, and Baba cannot do exactly what he needed to do in that case, which means Reason get to walk onto the bomb site and plant, unless Erisip does exactly that. 2 versus 3, 2 versus 2 as it all kicks off over on A, as Basso wipes away Zinken. JZ, big green gun, gets 1 kill. Basso dumped from behind by Erisip. So close, yet so far for Reason.
We go into the deciding round here. Either it's going to be Reason winning the match, or it's going to be a double overtime. And
I'm telling you, double overtime.
I mean, you could smell it. I know. The problem for Reason now is, though, that they don't really have that much money. They can't afford an AWP, so Case is going to have to go with the Deagle. Also, very proficient with that weapon.
Tesis needs 4 more kills to hit a 40 bomb.
Yeah, in 36 rounds.
It's pretty impressive.
It's pretty, he's had a really, really good game. I mean, a lot can be said, but you can't really fault him for much this match. He has been playing very, very well. Another player that's been playing really well is Erikip, who takes his first of the round, but definitely not his first of this match. Basso looking to make quick work of the CTC on the B-bomb site. And I feel like this clutch, or this round at least, starts with Reason getting a plant. But the problem is, the only guy who has HP has the bomb, and putting Basso up on the bomb site would be pretty suicidal, as he is so low that he'd likely just be found quickly. Fortunately for the Reason Gaming players, Epsilon are going to be taking the next round, which means it's 18-18 and game on. And we're looking at another overtime. And I mean, honestly, I'm not too unhappy about that. I think it's been an amazing match. It was a bit of a slow starter, but these past few rounds have been really, really close. And I think the most exciting thing about watching overtimes, and especially double overtimes, is when you can really tell that it's two great in-game leaders facing off versus each other. So it starts being not so much about, okay, how would I like to play Overpass, but it ends up being more like, okay, how can I get inside this guy's mind?
How can I anti-strat what we've seen over God knows how many rounds from the other team so far? It really, really has become a tactical battle. But as well as it, you know, becoming a tactical battle, in these kind of situations, sometimes the deciding factor can just be fatigue.
That's also actually a very good point. I don't think, I mean, I think fatigue is a point that's not brought up that much. I think it might not impact this match that much, since the teams have only played this one match and will only play this one match today. But it is true. I mean, if the game goes on for a long time, it usually ends up being down to fatigue. At least there will be mistakes made that normally aren't. And we'll see if Baba will be able to punish that. Tasis, good trade actually. JC Walkings unfortunately retrades that immediately, and Kevzi does not quite find the angle onto Hester, but it looks like that was all part of his plan. They are stacking up on him. Hester is going to take down Kevzi. Now into a 3 versus 3, and this is just, I mean, round for round, it's back and forth, but even during the rounds, in the middle of the rounds, it's also just constant back and forth.
Yeah, Kevzi got a little bit isolated there. It did look like Reason had a bit of a hitch that he was hiding in and around that area. Maybe spotted him earlier that we didn't spot, but the thing is now, Epsilon, they've got men pushing all the way up towards A long. They're going to know that this has to be a B push, and they need to rotate men thick and fast. Otherwise, the bomb site is going to be left open, because Zinken is going to crumble. He's going to die. He's going to get slaughtered as Jay-Z leads the charge back into B. Here's an AWP to his left. Should be able to get the kill, and does. And I think he hears Hasta running through the pipe towards short as well. 2 versus 1. Erikip with the weight of the world on his shoulders. And that weight results in a round. Not for him, but for his opposition. It's 19 rounds to Reason.
And again, it's actually Csgo getting the really vital kill. I mean, going into it 3 versus 3 on the bomb site, the only guy that dodges the flash is the guy that's the furthest out, and that's Csgo. Not only does he dodge the flash, he also gets the kill, and also ends up killing Erikip in the end. Now, Reason has had the only round of T-side overpass in the overtime. So we'll see if that comes into play later on. I mean, so far in the first overtime, both CT sides were flawless. And really now there's a dink in the armor.
TTK Bank. Should have just gone with TK Bank. Team Kill Bank. Here we go. Jay-Z. All eyes on these smelly toilets. And he knows that Basso's there because he's seen him lob a flash out, and he's going to miss the shot. And surely now he's not going to go for a second peek. Or is he? He does fall back in the end. Probably play this a little bit more passively from them steps coming out of CT spawn. But it does mean that toilets have been given up for Reason Gaming. They have left Neo on the other side of the map, though. It's probably a good idea, you know, leave Neo as the lurker, faking an attack on towards the other bomb site to keep the CTs confused before it then allows the rest of Reason to rush into one bomb site. And there is the entry frag they needed. And Barbar with it all to do as the bomb gets planted, or begins the process of being planted. CTs furiously starting to rotate, but KS KS will drop Erikip, and suddenly it looks like Reason could maybe, just maybe, be only seconds away from their second terrorist round in overtime here on Overpass. Thesis does what Thesis does best as he gets a double for himself before KS gets a double of his own, thanks to that earlier frag and the later frag he just got there as well. KS's AWP play, Thesis' rifle play, the full story of the Reason Gaming comeback, considering at one point there was about 10 rounds difference between them and Epsilon, I think it was.
Yeah, what a ride this has been. And Reason picking up not only their first, but also their second T-side round is putting so much pressure on Epsilon. And now, since they are also simultaneously broke, if this is not a throwaway round for Reason, them picking up 3 terrorist rounds in a row surely would mean that they are going to be victorious in this Gfinity Elite match. KS, I think he can wallbang. He's wallbanging all sorts of places here. I'm not even sure if that wall is spammable. Anyway.
There's only one way to find out.
Yeah, try to see if you can get a kill through, I guess.
Kind of helps if there's someone on the other side.
Yeah, it's true. But on the other side of Monster is Csgo, and Erikip lurking up is going to be found. Puts it even more in the favor of Reason, and Hester is putting it even increasingly more in the favor of Reason Gaming. 5 versus 2 situation. Kevzi looking to make a play, finds Csgo. 3 guys on the Reason side though, still fully healthed, as Kevzi is just going to be charging through. He might even end up catching the players. Basso takes him down, and now Sinkin, last man standing. It looks like Basso has sniffed him out. It will come down to this battle. Sinkin hears the reload from Basso. And will he be able to find the frag? He will not. Basso drops him. It's 3 in a row for Reason. And the first 3, the first 2 in a row, and actually the first ever round in overtime for the T side here on Overpass in the Epsilon versus Reason Gaming match. So, do you think Knight will be seeing Reason Gaming just picking up the first round now and closing out the match?
No, I think Epsilon will take the pistol, but the round after that will go towards Reason, and it will be a close round. But again, I'm just, you know.
You think they'll take the pistol?
I'm guessing. No, yeah, I think Epsilon will take the pistol round. No, not the pistol round, sorry. The first round. Why am I saying the pistol round?
Yeah, I don't know. That's why I had to ask.
Now you know I was talking about fatigue. Yeah. Yeah, I do suffer from that when commenting.
I was like, I'm pretty sure it's going to be pretty weird if someone decides to have a pistol round in the middle of double overtime.
It's just force of habit when you mention the first round. Just call it the pistol round.
Most definitely.
Anyways. Here we go then. Reason flawless so far in overtime on their CT side, and it's going to be KS to get first blood against Zinken with the AWP. Hasta will have the bomb at his disposal as well, and Reason now only 3 kills away from defeating who were previously undefeated in the form of Epsilon Esports so far. Newly recruited Barber, who led Epsilon to victory in the last Gfinity Elite Series. Unfortunately, that magic may very well have worn off. Bomb is going to get picked up though. Barber finds himself surrounded. Basso gets one. Barber returns the kill, but he finds himself all alone. Thesis, KS, Hasta, Csgo, and Basso. They've been the 5 men who have looked to bring Reason Gaming back from the abyss, back when it looked like they had absolutely no chance whatsoever to bring this game back. They were God knows how many rounds down, but they've huffed, they've puffed, and now, unless Barber can do what is probably the near impossible with only 30 seconds on the clock, Reason, my friends, the Danes, are going to win this Scandinavian derby.
Yeah, not only that, it's not even a real Scandinavian derby because they do have Csgo, and it is going to be Thesis to find the last frag. And it is just beautiful scenes. The Reason guys, it means so much to them.
You know, even I want to stand here and clap. Honestly, I like that cheeky fist bump as well from Csgo. Like, yeah, that was always going to happen. Yeah, you know, Well, I mean, I think the serious talk now is, do you think they could potentially replace their regular 5th with Zeo? I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. Congratulations to Reason Gaming. What a game. Commiserations to Epsilon, who are no longer undefeated in this second Gfinity Elite Series. And on that note, you know what? 2 rounds of overtime. We need some analysis. Tom, over to you.
Thank you so much to Gfinity and NATO. Wowzers, 18-22 on Cobblestone. I tell you what, it's fair to say, Reason, I tell you what, the Danes save their bacon. We'll be back in a second for more analysis.